Hello viewers, the Forza Motorsport we all know and love has finally returned. Yes, that's right, the Shameful rammers are back. And we're going to go toe to toe with them here at Watkins Glen in the R-Class hopper, of all places. So this can only be described as a masterclass of disaster really. Let's take a look into turn 1. As many cars deploy a smokescreen, which is obviously very ideal when you're at the back of the pack here. And I'm already up into 13th, having started 22nd, Porsche spinning, Ferrari getting obliterated into the barrier. One less person to worry about there. Contact up the hill, how we survived that I really do not know. Then coming up the middle straight here, up the right hand side, we've got some good pace here in the Porsche. Late on the brakes into the chicane and through goes Hamilton. Very late on the brakes, very committed. We're going to have to pause it there just to really take a look at that again, because all manner of depravity going on here. First corner, look at that. Smoke screens everywhere, overtaking 10 cars. Ferrari gets absolutely sent to the Shadow Realm. And then, I mean, this Bugatti driver, Rock Rider 14, late on the brakes, but a little bit too late. A nice meeting there with Barry R, and it's all over for him. I just want to point you in the direction of my merch store, which is now open, supergt.gg, link in description. A couple of items on sale for you. And obviously if you wear them, it will protect you from the Shadow Realm. Unlike this guy here, as he just goes flying in, forgets to brake, and boom, he obviously is not wearing the merch. Now of course we have these throttle and brake socks as well, which I know you want, and will make you miles quicker on any racing game. But yeah, go and take a look guys, it's open now at long last. We're back to the race, sitting here in 8th position. That was a fairly healthy start for me, avoiding much of the carnage and the chaos, and moving from 22nd to 8th, 14 positions in one lap. That really is very Forza Motorsport like. And you know, back in the day on this channel, many chaotic and carnage filled Forza Motorsport videos were uploaded, and it seems like we're back to that heyday. Now the Porsche, they're grinding across the wall as I got the inside up against the Acura, and boom, we've got the position up into 6th place, and it looks as though they made contact on the way out of that chicane, but that's not going to bother me, as I have now a job to do, and that is catching up with the battle for 4th. Looks like the top 3 pretty quick. And you know, if you're going to be starting towards the front on one of these hoppers, you're going to hopefully avoid most of the carnage, and you can pull away quite quickly. But having started at the back to really bear witness to all of the depravity we have seen today is always going to be a bit harder to catch up. So we're going to whip it forward here to the beginning of lap 3. It's only a 4-lap race, quite a short race this one, and this was the R-Class hopper. A little bit deep on the brakes, and this guy just continues turning right, even though he was no longer needing to do that, and he finds himself in the wall. So many people meeting Barry R today. He's a very popular lad here at Watkins Glen, and now the only position I can really gain is 4th, as the top 3 are roughly 10 seconds up the road. And so the battle is on in this Porsche, which is the only Porsche I have, the only R-Class car I have which is actually tuned up. So up into a 900 performance rating, and this was the only 900 rated car I had. It was one that was given to me when I started the game, so I thought, why not, let's just go for it. It is a bit clunky, it's quite heavy, it's fast in a straight line, there's no question about that, and we are certainly catching up with, what car is this? It's another Porsche, as we head through the final corner. With 1 lap remaining, I've clearly got a pace advantage, and I don't have a brake advantage, as now I am turning into the Shameful rammer. That was a little bit too late there, I would say, on the brakes, and that was never quite going to work. So I'm going to have to regather my thoughts and go again in this epic duel, as it can only really be described for the ages. And make sure you tell your grandchildren about this battle, because it really is truly special. Up to 4th we go, superior straight line speed, which means presumably this guy must have better cornering, but it doesn't seem to be the case. As I pull away, he came in here for a lovely attempt, and boom, in he goes. and the Shameful ram attempt did come in. Thankfully I didn't get a penalty for that. The stewards are actually doing a very good job today. Very, very good job. And, well, there we go. Crossing the line to do the boys back at the Porsche factory in Stuttgart. Very proud. 17 positions gained. We move into this one, and, I mean, what even is that? The Shadow Realm is protecting me, guys. Either that or some sort of spaceship is above me and is about to abduct me. I don't really know. I mean, what even the hell is that? It is very strange, but this weird artifact was strangely protecting me. Is it the Shadow Realm? Perhaps the Shadow Realm is giving me protection. And there's many possible explanations for this. Another one is that the game is a little bit off at times. As this guy goes backwards. We set a nice little time there in practice. Now here's the grid. I didn't actually qualify because it's actually quite fun just witnessing the chaos, isn't it? And there's me at the back. And two things. First off, there's no shadow. And second off, I'm on the right-hand side. And then presumably someone left the race because now I'm on the left-hand side. There was another Porsche behind me, so I don't even know what's going on there. The shadow's gone, but then suddenly it's back. The Shadow Realm has truly encircled me here, and is a bit like a power-up, because as we come into the first corner, it gives me divine protection, as you can see here, avoiding all of the chaos. And I don't know how many times I've said that word in this video, but it must be in excess of 500 now. Let's look at that, up into third place, straight from 16th or 17th on the grid, and just making everyone look silly. But when you have divine protection from the Shadow Realm, there's not much you can't do, really. Let's look at this drag race between the two of us. It's going to be Schumacher versus Hakkinen down the back straight here. Either side onto the grass. I brake way too late. I can't get any grip. And I've, completely cut the chicane there of Lecombe. And that's going to hand me a nice 9.5 second penalty, as you can see. So I've gone from near enough last to first, albeit with a 10-second penalty and some protection from the Shadow Realm. So all I can do now really is just try to pull away by 9.5 seconds and try to win this race outright. I mean, it's a very questionable strategy, but you never know. It could actually work. It could actually be a masterstroke. This is the end of the race. This is lap 3. I mean, my penalties went up to 10.5 by the end, as you can see there. And the gap was not big enough. I was going to be destined to finish in third after all of that. I mean, still not too bad, given that, started at the back. But hopefully this spaceship that is circling above me abducts me and takes me to Forza 8, which might work. But anyway, where are we? Look at that, up to third. Initially it was like 15th after that big penalty, but on the podium, and the shadow cast over the podium as well. Look at that. Shadow Realm has no limits. It follows you everywhere. So there's third place on the grid, third place on the podium, sorry. We move into the next race, and this was always going to be quite a tricky one. Mid-Ohio, one of the new real tracks in the game. There's me going off onto the grass. Thankfully, with no big shadow being cast over me this time around. And that certainly made for a very different race here. Now, as I smash into the barrier once again, I knew that this race would be difficult. This kind of track doesn't really lend itself to this big old clunky Porsche. But away we go, once again from the back, almost into the back of the Audi, but thankfully not. And that Ferrari is going to be a victim once again. The Ferrari F1 car, the open wheeler, is just going to be absolutely obliterated here. Smash! Get out of the way, mate. You're going to have to move aside. Not for the first time. And look at this, guys. This is beautiful. 6 abreast. I mean, that might even be 7 abreast there. And we're going to smash into this Ferrari. And yes, look at that. These open wheelers just getting absolutely victimised in this R-Class hopper. Standing no chance at all. I mean, I would certainly recommend that you just do not pick that car, because clearly they are a magnet for trouble. As soon as you pick that car, you've just written your death sentence, essentially. And you basically have no chance of surviving. So I'd certainly recommend that in a race like this, it is very essential to pick a car which has a good amount of, let's say, strength, to resist the contact from other cars. Now this rejoin, not my one, look at that one, boom, smashing that guy straight off. I mean, I'm not sure what he did to deserve that, but it was absolutely shameless, or shameful. You pick the word. I mean, both apply really, as we try to pull away from the pack, but we're in 11th out of 22, we're right in the middle here, so this couldn't be much worse or more dangerous. And so I would say my chances of coming out alive are probably about 50-50 at this point. As we head through into the final sector, very awkward couple of corners here. This BMW is about to end up obliterated, and boom, there he goes. Ferrari F40, giving him a nice little helping hand into the wall, which is really lovely to see, isn't it? Anyway, that's the end of lap number 1, up the inside of the F40, on the brakes. Nice little move there, but I've overdone it, overcooked it, and he's performed the old switcheroo to perfection as I smash a load of cones away. Now into this hairpin, late on the brakes, on the 100-metre boards. Might be a little bit too late, almost onto the grass. But we're going to come back for that beautiful late apex and try to pull away. Now this is probably the fastest part of the track, and we're looking for the shadow of the crane on the right hand side. There is the crane, let's look for the shadow. Let's try to actually brake for the corner this time and not go off onto the grass, and boom, look at that, lovely stuff. Ferraris, no, that's a radical rejoining into the side of the Porsche, and he's only spun himself out, so that is not ideal at all. So lots of very shameful ramming attempts. I mean, some from me as well, I must be honest. I've not been the cleanest person in the lobby, but it really is. This really is nostalgic. This is prime 2016 to 2017 Super GT right here, as we're gonna, oh my goodness, late lunge up the inside of the sister Porsche there, and the boys and girls back in the garage looking on in shame as I try to take out my teammate of all people. We're sat here in 8th and 7th, going to try and make up some ground. The F40 trying to come back at us here, and I need to try and pull away before they do some damage and do some harm. I mean, I need to be checked here because I could be the one doing the harm, as that's pretty much proven to be the case as we come up here, and it's going to prove to be true here, as I've got this clear inclination to go up the inside far too late on the brakes, and it's happened a shameful amount, and quite frankly I need to upgrade my brakes or my technique or my ability, one of them, and needs to change. So that Ferrari has actually come back from the dead. I don't know how he's done it, but he's resisted the urge to exist in the afterlife, and he's come back to reality as that other Ferrari goes off onto the grass behind. What is going on? It's all kicking off now. So this Ferrari has died about 58 times in this video. I don't know how. He keeps coming back for more, and here he's going to die for the 59th time as he just puts himself in the wrong position at the wrong place. Back onto the grass he goes, and that was that. Heading into the final sector, lap number 3, nearly halfway into this race. Can we get this move done cleanly on our teammate? Doesn't look like we can, as the proximity arrow worryingly gets close, and now he's going to run me off the track, and now it's my turn to put myself in the wrong place at the wrong time. The Ferrari from the afterlife goes through, and as does this radical and what is going on here? Lots of very awkward contact between the two of us. It really is not pretty at all. And the boys and girls back at Stuttgart, the Porsche factory, just shaking their heads in disgust as we both wipe each other out from the race. Just not good enough at all. They're probably ripping up my contract right now, as that is unacceptable from the Porsche. From the Porsche board, they're looking upon me in shame. I only have a 1.2 second penalty to report of at this point. But we're trying to make our way back into the top 10. Well, we are in the top 10. Any positions higher? Possibly. Up against this Ferrari F40 and the Radical up in front. Those cars should be quick through this part of the track. We're going to look up the inside of the Ferrari here. Nice textbook move for once, as actually the Ferrari drives himself straight off onto the grass. A little bit later on, this guy turns left on a straight. Goes straight on a right. That's what I meant. Got that wrong, but anyway, go past him up into 8th, and that was that really. Brought home the car, thankfully, avoided the shadow realm and finished well inside the top 10. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And do please check out supertt.gg for the merch. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.